What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. This is another episode of Straightforward. Today we got week 3. We're gonna talk deep dive into the NFL. We're gonna react to my power rankings. I've been dropping weekly power rankings since the season started. I got 2 upsets of the week that I'm gonna dive deeper into. Got a couple 2-0 teams. We gonna talk about which one's been more impressive so far. Obviously, all 2-0 teams aren't true 2-0 teams. We gonna also talk about Ben Simmons not reporting the training camp. We're gonna get into this Cam Newton and Big Ben situation as far as Big Ben being injured going into this week with a strained pec, I believe.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the number 1 and number 2 overall picks, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, are now leading the league in picks. Should the Jets and Jags be concerned? But first, we're going to start off with the power rankings. As always, I got number 10, Baltimore. Sitting at 10, not 10. Well, yeah, they're sitting at 10. But they're 1-1 right now on the season, coming in with a win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar crew look better than what they've looked in recent years offensively. And defensively, they look just about as good, considering they played against 2 of the most high-powered offenses in the league in the first 2 weeks. And also being short-handed, missing Marcus Peters and a few others to be named as far as Jalen Ferguson. And,
Whole running back.
whole running back room went down before the season even started.
Yeah.
Number 9, we got Vegas. Electric offense, beating Pittsburgh and Baltimore in the first 2 weeks. Those are 2 teams that people consider to be playoff contenders. Some of the premier teams in the league. You beat them 2 teams, you definitely get put into the top 10. And the way Derek Carr been playing, out of this world, leading the league in passing yards right now, and I believe their offense is number 1 in total offense right now. 8, we got Seattle riding in on the loss to Tennessee. They're still a premier offense. They will bounce back. It's an opportunistic defense over there. The defense is actually looking better than what most expect this year. The front 7 doing better than what a lot.
They're getting a little bit of pressure over there. I'm surprised by that
Yeah.
one right there.
That front 7 definitely looking better. Coming in number 7, Arizona. I would say one of the trickier teams, but they're better than a lot of people would think and that I think. Have they proven themselves to be top 5 yet? Obviously not if I got them at 7. Barely coming in on a win against Minnesota. Only because I don't even know the kicker's name, but he missed a field goal to win the game. And, yeah, they're a solid team, but do I think they are a premier team, somebody to really be worried about as the season progresses on? No.
Do you have them ranked any higher or lower? I mean, do you have them ranked any lower if the kicker make that field goal?
Yes, they probably would be 9 or 10 if the kicker makes the field goal.
Okay.
Sitting at 1-1. Number 6, I got San Francisco. Honestly, this is one of the best teams in the league all around. One of the best front 7s and elite coaching. Obviously, you have to be a lead play caller, getting Jimmy G to do the things that Jimmy G is doing. Because from what I seen last week against Philly, he looked god-awful in that first half. And then he found a way to fix it and pick up on it in the second half and deliver a win. Number 5, I got Cleveland. A lot of people, y'all should know, I really don't like Cleveland. I'm not a believer in Cleveland. I'm not a believer in Baker. But this is one of the better teams also in the league with a tremendous backfield, good enough quarterback play, and they just handle business. They do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Number 4, I'm going to go Buffalo. This is one of the better offenses in the league and a defense that's showing promise after shutting out Miami 35-0. That has to be taken notice of, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You don't just shut somebody out and then put 35 on them like that.
Yeah, that's great ball on both sides of the ball.
Coming in 3, we got Kansas City. Even off a loss, still the best team in the AFC, hands down. You tell me to put my money on any team in the AFC, I put my money on Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid.
Yeah, that offense is so dynamic. You know, you can always depend on them to score points.
Yeah, they gonna have a game every year as long as they got Patty and they got Andy. They gonna have a game every year where you say, "Man, are they really still the best team?" And I'm here to tell you, they are still the best team. Number 2, L.A. Rams. This is arguably the best defense in the league. They don't give up much yards. Their pass defense is amazing for them. In my opinion, to only really have one corner. The other 2 play off of Jalen Ramsey. But this is one of the better defenses in the league and a very good offense that's looking poised. Going into this week 3, we getting a nice matchup with them and the Bucks that I got number 1, the best offense in the league in my opinion. They've been hanging points on people left and right. Best front 7. That offense in Tampa is just throwing up numbers like it's nothing. Like 48 points, I want to say 35 of them came from the offense, and then the other, what's that, 13, 14 came from the defense. We already knew this about Tampa, though.
Yeah.
There's not much to be said about Tampa. Anything that you'd change on there?
Yes. I feel like the biggest blooper that you have on there is the 2-0 Carolina Panthers are nowhere on that list. I feel like me as a Seattle Seahawks fan, I understand that the Carolina Panthers are better than us just because they have that pass rush. I heard they're going crazy over there. We have no pass rush. We have no defense whatsoever. And I feel like if they need to air it out, they can air it out. Sam Darnold's proven, I feel like, in those 2 games that he's an NFL quarterback, a starting caliber quarterback. It was just the Jets offense, as you see, as they continue to struggle over there.
Now, here's my problem with this. Carolina week 1 played the Jets. Like you said, has been god-awful and is looking pathetic as the season progresses on. They played the Jets week 1. They just played Houston 2 nights ago, Thursday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
And this past weekend, they played against the Saints, week 2.
And embarrassed them.
Okay, so week 1, we got a rookie quarterback and a horrible team. Week 2, we have a solid team that was missing 7 defensive starters. And a quarterback who's still trying to figure his way out in this offense. Don't get me wrong. And this is the thing that I asked myself. After Carolina did that to New Orleans, this is why I asked myself. Was Green Bay just that bad? Or was New Orleans
That's a good question.
riding hot just that day and they caught fire just that day?
They're not even on your list, are they?
No. So it's like, that's what I ask myself. And as I tell people all the time, as the season progresses on, we will continue to find out more and more who's the better teams and who's not the better teams.
Yeah.
But Carolina just hasn't played anybody. You play against Jameis, you play against Zach Wilson, you play against Davis Mills. You can't tell me that if you put Carolina against Baltimore, against Vegas, against Seattle, Arizona, that you have confidence in them coming out with a win.
I feel like they'll definitely beat us. They would definitely beat Seattle, I believe.
I just don't see them scoring enough points. Like,
I feel like they'll get
they
the stops,
score
though.
enough points to beat average teams.
I feel like they can come up with the stops, and we can't.
I'm not a believer in their front 7 either. Their pass rush. Like I said, the quarterback play,
Shaq
the
Thompson,
teams.
Derek Thomas,
Yeah, the teams that they've played, I'm just not a believer so far what I've seen.
Yeah, they got some good pass rushers over there. But I like how you got the whole NFC West in it.
Definitely.
It's saying
Best
something.
division in the league.
Yeah, hands down.
Upsets of the week. Anything you got?
Yeah, of course. I know it's finna ruffle some Dallas fans' feathers, but I got the Eagles coming out over the Cowboys. I feel like the Eagles finna come back seeking vengeance off of not a bad loss to the San Francisco 49ers. But yeah, I feel like this is gonna be the start to them taking over the NFC East because I believe the Eagles gonna win it this year. So I feel like they're gonna come out over top this year about 28-17.
Coincidentally. Okay, with my first one, Bears and Browns. Cleveland opens up as a 7.5-point favorite. I'm taking Chicago. Chicago's D hasn't been bad at all. Let's talk about that. Ranked 9th in total defense. Ranked 5th against the run. And there's very little tape on Justin Fields. So how do you game plan for Justin Fields? You're going off of college tape, right?
It's a different offense, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing is this: I think it's gonna take a minute, maybe a half, maybe a quarter, for Cleveland to truly figure out, okay, what are we going to do against Justin Fields? Now then, will it be too late? I don't know, but I'm willing to take Chicago and Justin Fields' legs
Yeah.
combined with his arm talent over Cleveland. I think it's a sneaky and a tricky matchup, but in that spot right there, man, I'm taking them.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking about putting it on there, but I feel like as a Browns fan, that would have been disrespectful.
And then, like you said, Dallas and Philly. I'm taking Philly over Dallas. Dallas opens up as a 3.5-point favorite. Philly has been the most impressive team to me so far through these 2 weeks, riding into week 3, ranking 4th in total defense. Nobody expected this at all. 3rd against the pass. Now, don't get me wrong, they struggle against the run, and that's where Zeke comes in. We will get to see Zeke and Tony Pollard actually do something. At least that's what we expect going into this game based off of the numbers.
Do you
Now,
expect to see Michael Parsons coming off the edge again this week?
No. They just paid that left tackle, Jordan. I can't pronounce it. Yeah. And then you got Lane Johnson on the other side. Those are solid tackles. Lane Johnson obviously used to be a premier tackle.
Okay, he gonna manhandle that man.
Yeah.
I want to see him try though. I want to see him try. Because I am not buying a Michael Parsons hype just yet.
And see, I know the Cowboy fans out there are like, okay, they can play defense, but can they score? Look, if...
Can the Cowboys play defense to you?
No, they can't. And don't get me wrong, they think that their defense is better. Look, it's looking better than what it was. But how much better? This is the thing. It's not looking as good as y'all believe. It's better, but it's not as good. Dallas, obviously high-powered offense, but the question is the defense. Having the 6th worst total defense. And we talking about the 2nd worst passing defense in the league. I think Jalen Hurts should have another solid day against Dallas.
Yeah.
Obviously, y'all been getting turnovers. Teams won't continue to turn over the ball in spurts like they have in these first 2 weeks.
I agree. I feel like with the Cowboys turnovers, the takeaways that they get, I feel like it's just bad football coming from the opposing team.
Yes.
Not necessarily Cowboys sending pressure, getting pressure, and forcing an interception or anything. I feel like it's just quarterback forcing in a bad gap or something. Forcing somewhere it shouldn't be forced or something.
Like I said the other week after week 1, opening night. Look, Dallas, you played a good game, but you lost to Tampa while they played at their worst. Tampa will not turn over the ball 4 times. So you saying, a lot of Cowboys fans after the game, oh, well, we barely lost to the defending champs. Look at the context of it.
Do you include that interception by Tom Brady at the end of the half?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. And then you say, okay, well, we missed the field goal at the end of the game. That's, 3 points, and then you missed
an extra point?
Yeah. That's 4 points?
I think
they had like 7 in all that they missed out on.
Yeah.
Y'all got 10 points off of a pick and a fumble. Resulted in a touchdown and a field goal. So, I mean, we go tit for tat if you want to, but Tampa's not going to play that sloppy.
They gave y'all 3 extra. They gave y'all 3 extra drives, and y'all did not win.
Yeah, at their worst. And it's not me trying to hate. I'm just calling it how it is. At their worst, y'all still couldn't get it done. But enough on the upsets of the week. If you haven't followed me yet on TikTok, that's where I drop a lot of content during the week. You can go follow me, the number 1 KHARY with 2 Y's. You can go follow me on TikTok. Now, I ask, who has been the most impressive 2-0 team so far?
Yeah, the most impressive team to me so far has got to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Definitely.
Just because Derek Carr been balling out. Usually he's always been like a subpar quarterback, a middle of the pack quarterback. Never great, never terrible, but this year he's been looking exceptional so far. You see a lot of those receivers coming up, playing big for him. Zay Jones, he doing his thing. And then Henry Ruggs, you see he making plays out here a little bit. Still not living up to the draft hype yet, but he growing into a role. That defense got Max Crosby coming off the edge with Cardin, I see that's his name.
Yeah, Cardin. Yeah. That front seven, well, not a front seven, the defensive line.
Yeah.
For Oakland, Vegas has definitely been impressive, and it's turning some heads so far. I overlooked the Unique Ngakwe signing this offseason, but
Yeah,
it's looking like it was the right pick of pairing him with Max Crosby.
yeah, I agree. I feel like that offense is it's only gonna get better as the season goes on. I believe. I don't think it's a fluke or anything, but averaging 29.5 points, that's crazy. I think
Yeah.
almost averaging 30 points per game.
Considering the teams that they played, like I said earlier, they played against Baltimore. They beat Pittsburgh. Well, they beat both teams, obviously,
Yeah,
coming in 2-0. But comparing those to the teams that Denver and Carolina played, Denver played against, I believe, the Jets
Giants.
and the Giants. Two, New York just looks pathetic, honestly.
The state of New York.
Yes, like it's
Man.
just bad all across.
It's bad. It's hard to be a football fan in New York. I know.
Yeah, you can't catch a break. It's like, man, I want to. You go for the Jets.
Yeah.
Jets suck. Can't go for the Jets. Okay, let me go for the Giants. Nah, the Giants just as bad. Yeah, man. Vegas is definitely the most impressive, but the tricky thing with Vegas, will they be able to maintain this as the season progresses? And I think a lot of people have to ask themselves that because we thinking like, okay, they knocked off Baltimore, they knocked off Pittsburgh. Granted, they knocked off Kansas City last year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even make the play. I think they went what 7-9, 8-8, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I believe so. They always gonna be a middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
I know it's hard being a Las Vegas fan.
Vegas is always for the last couple of years they've been coming out hot and then just pooping.
That's the bad part about being a Raiders fan because they never gonna be bad enough to get a good pick, and they're never gonna be good enough to get it. They're never gonna be good enough to compete or anything.
All right, so let's hop into the NBA for just one topic. What do you think of Ben Simmons not reporting training camp?
Man, I think it's clear like he don't want to be there. Just go ahead and get rid of him. But I feel like who's gonna take a chance on that though? Who do you see?
I think a lot of teams are actually willing to take a chance. It's just the price of Ben Simmons.
What are you gonna give up? Like, what?
Yeah, they definitely want to. They want too much for him, and then on top of that, not only do you want too much, it's like okay, his attitude isn't the best, so that's kind of throwing it off too. He's being a diva about the situation, like Shannon Sharp said. Be professional about it. Show up to training camp. Joel Embiid, don't say nothing to me. I'm gonna do my job. Y'all get me up out of here. It's as simple as that. But Doc trying to not force, but trying to beg Ben to stay after he sat there in the press conference and said, "I don't know if I can win a championship with Ben Simmons as my point guard." How you gonna say that and then backtrack on it? Come on now, Doc.
Oh,
And then Joel Embiid, you know what I'm saying? I can't remember what exactly he said, but it wasn't something that you would want your teammate to say. He said that after the layup that they missed, everything just went downhill. Well, that they didn't take. But you take everything. Everything that you don't take, you miss. Yeah, man.
I feel
They
like.
just need to trade him.
So what do you think is a reasonable trade for them to get?
It depends. It depends on. I think the one trade that I definitely want to see. It depends on how Portland starts the season. If Portland comes out and they're not looking too good, you definitely have to say as front office in Portland, okay, maybe it's time to move off of Damian Lillard. Obviously,
Just go to
Damian
the
Lillard's
rebuild
going
stage.
to want to, Obviously, Damian Lillard's going to want to be moved. Trade Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons, whatever else needs to be thrown into the deal and get it done. Ben gets his own team. Obviously, won't be competing anytime soon if they do trade for Ben Simmons. Or I would love to see him in Golden State. Who would they trade for Ben Simmons? I don't know.
Probably Draymond or something. I think.
Yeah, I really can't see him and Draymond being on the floor together. So it may be.
You can't.
And
do
then
that.
after Draymond's little interview with Kevin Durant, probably about a month and a half ago, I definitely can see
he
the Warriors
the
front office getting rid of him. I can definitely see it.
They was making him apologize or something like that.
Man,
Yeah, it wasn't good, but basketball, that's a complex sport right there. There's a lot of divas out there in basketball.
it's getting bad, bro. Like sports is getting soft in general, and it's really starting to piss me off.
Speaking of soft in sports,
The taunting.
that's what I was going to ask you about. What do you think about that?
Look here, dog. It's a part of the game.
Yeah.
if I dunk on you, you gonna get the, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know what I'm gonna say. Y'all know. Like, come on now. If I catch a ball, if I moss you, you gonna hear it. If I sack you, you're going to hear it. So why are you taking it away? You just want somebody to make the sack and then get up and walk off like they walking in the park or something.
Yeah.
Like they didn't just
Once
sack
you
the
play
quarterback.
emotionless. Motionless.
And it's not good for the game.
No.
Bad enough everybody already cupcakes and friends with each other, bruh.
Yeah.
I don't want to
I feel
watch
like
the
all these
game.
players, yeah, they all know it's the game of football. Emotions are going to get invested into the game. So I feel like if you say something between the lines, I think they probably not gonna take it to. Not too many people gonna take it to heart because they know it's just a game. It's the nature of the sport. I mean, you think I'm finna sit here and dog this man out in front of me, and I'm not supposed to say nothing to him? Like,
Nothing at all.
come on now. That's
Now,
hard to do when you playing in the trenches. I know for sure.
Big Ben this week was listed as questionable for this weekend. He has a strained or torn pec, something of that nature along those lines. Should the Steelers sign Cam Newton?
I feel like, yeah, go ahead. I want them to. I'm always gonna be for a Cam Newton signing. But in reality, it's like, how long would Cam Newton be playing? Like, how long is Big Ben gonna be out is a question. Because if you're just gonna be out for 2 or 3 weeks, and I say no, you go ahead and rock with Dwayne Haskins, who already know the playbook and stuff. Because that's about how long it's gonna take Cam Newton to come in and learn the playbook, probably. If you ask me.
Yeah, it will take him a second to learn it. Just throw him in there, and I, I hate how they doing Cam.
Yeah.
I really do, because for him to not get an opportunity at all, like, okay, yeah, you got it in New England, and he released the interview a couple weeks ago saying that he was gonna be a distraction, this and that. He would have took the backup job, which was surprising to me because I thought that he didn't want the backup job, and that's why he got cut.
Yeah, I agree with Cam now.
But for him to not be receiving any type of opportunity or anything of that nature, it's pathetic, because you see these white quarterbacks year in and year out, the Joe Flacco's, the Ryan Fitzpatrick's. Not saying that they're bad quarterbacks, but
Nowhere near the
they
caliber
go
of
in
Cam.
and stink up jobs,
Yeah.
throw 50 billion picks, make 50 billion mistakes over and over again, and they get they get an opportunity every year signing somewhere else. The Nick Foles,
That's how Ryan Fitzpatrick made a living, right?
Ryan Fitzpatrick has stunk up every job that he's had, and actually went back to a couple franchises twice. I think he played for the Jets twice. But Cam Newton, he can't get a job because he's injury prone. Well, he had a problem with his shoulder and his foot that's not even bothering him like it once was,
Yeah.
and now he can't get a job. But the Ryan Fitzpatricks of the world, and like I said, the Joe Flacco's, the
Matt Barkley.
yeah,
Stuff like that.
the
Yeah.
Mike Glennons are
Josh
getting
McCown.
jobs,
Yeah.
throwing 50 billion picks. Like, somebody please help me understand that. It's frustrating to see that happen, and
Yeah.
you don't want to use the black card, but like, okay, come on now, what else is it? Because if it was white and it was if Cam Newton was white, he would be getting an opportunity.
Yeah. I think it is just his personality though, because look at Jacoby Brissett. He making a living doing the same thing. But I think it's just his personality, like, because you don't hear nothing about Jacoby Brissett. You don't see him doing no interviews and then like coming out saying no
Can understand
statements
that,
like that.
but and then that brings me to this question: what is so bad about his personality? Because
Nothing. I love it.
we've never heard Ron Rivera say anything bad about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But he's had 2 opportunities, including the opportunity right now as we speak, because Cam Newton is sitting in free agency, to go get Cam Newton. And he has not went and gotten Cam Newton yet. So what is it about Cam that we don't know? What is so bad that these teams don't want to go out and sign him to a $1 million deal, a veteran's minimum? What's so bad about him? I mean, come on now.
I don't feel like it's much.
Yeah, man. Should the Jags and the Jets be concerned, as both the number 1 and the number 2 overall picks are now tied for the most picks in the league so far through 2 weeks at 5?
I feel like the Jags should not be concerned. just because you know you have a lot of talent around them. That defense, they loaded in the cornerback room. I feel like you got C.J. Henderson, who was your first round pick about a year or two ago. Then you got Shaquille Griffin, who you just signed. You got Clavon Chazon, Josh Allen. You got some talent, and they're young too. That's the best part about it. Now, and then the offense, you got DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and what's the other receiver? Marvin Jones, I
Yeah,
believe.
Marvin Jones.
Then you drafted James Robinson, hit on him. He's a good running back. Then you got Travis Etienne. You got to see what he do off the foot injury, and you got your franchise quarterback. So you have pieces. Like you have pieces who you can build around. It's just a matter of can Urban Meyer come in and do the same thing he did at Ohio State, or is he just a great recruiter? If he's just a great recruiter, then you go in and get you another head coach at the market. I feel like, but the Jets, they in a totally different situation, I believe. Just because you coming off a quarterback who always played with great talent around him. You don't know how he gonna react. You don't know how you gonna react in a different situation because the Jets are probably the worst team. Nah, they're one of the worst teams of the decade. And then they don't have that much talent like the Jags have around them. I don't believe. So what do you think about that?
I say this, Jags. So far through 2 weeks, I don't want to call for nobody's job, but I'll say this: Urban's the problem. And like you said, you named the talent: Josh Allen, Clavon Chazon,
Miles Jack.
Trevor Lawrence, Miles Jack, C.J. Henderson, Shaquille Griffin. I think I said James Robinson. But the problem is he steady using Carlos Hyde. Like Carlos Hyde is better than James Robinson. James Robinson was a top 5 rusher last year. Give the man the ball and let him go to work. And you steady putting the ball in the air with Trevor because the offensive line isn't looking that bad. But it's like, bro, you throwing him into the fire with these NFL defenses and they're tricking him and manipulating him. And he's steady making mistakes. Stop giving him the ball, making him throw the ball 30-plus times a game. Let the running back run the ball and see where that gets you. Because, like you said, he has the talent. I'm calling for Urban. You have to do better. The talent is there. There's no reason y'all should have even pooped that game against the Texans. The Texans is the worst team in the league.
Yeah. I feel like they can run a similar offense to what the Browns and the Vikings run. Especially before Travis Etienne got hurt. Travis Etienne could be the Kareem Hunt, the receiving back, and let James Robinson be that power back just like Nick Chubb is over there. Then they have a good receiving core. They can do Laviska Shenault can be the Jarvis Landry to that offense and just protect Trevor Lawrence right now because it's some things like
until he learns it.
Yeah, he can make every throw on the field right now, but it's learning the timing about everything, learning that those holes close quicker.
And don't get me wrong, Peyton Manning went through the same process, but not everybody's Peyton Manning. That's what people have to understand. You know, these analysts are comparing them and saying, oh, well, Peyton Manning threw all these picks in his rookie year. These guys aren't Peyton Manning. That's what you have to understand. They're not Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
You don't get a Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is a once in every maybe 20, 25 years. You don't get that every year. So with that being said, stop trying to throw these quarterbacks out there and just let them run wild like a little kid. Understanding, yeah, they are a little kid compared to these players, these other players and other quarterbacks in the league. But you gonna knock off these dudes' careers just trying to throw them into the fire like Joe Burrow. Draft the tackle. Protect your quarterback. That's the sole piece of your team. And then to touch on the Jets. The Jets are just god awful. I honestly believe I can run the Jets better than the Jets are right now. It's pathetic. It's honestly pathetic. And to see Zach Wilson throw 4 picks, don't get me wrong, it was a couple bad reads, a couple bad throws. He had people right there in his face, though, where he was, okay, he could check it down right here, check it down right there. And that's something that he will build upon. But understanding that, like, dude, like I said, throwing your quarterback into the fire when you don't have to.
Yeah.
You playing the quick game instead of the long game.
Why did they leave him in long enough to throw 4 picks? Is the question. They were getting blew out that game, right? Yeah, I don't understand.
4 picks. I believe they all came in like the first 3 quarters, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe they all. I had a long night that night before, so I was in my bed with the phone in my hand and the TV on the game. I'm steady falling asleep with the phone in my hand.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, bro, it's pathetic what's going on in the Jets. And then Sam Darnold over there winning games, it ain't making it no better. I never hopped off of okay, maybe Sam Darnold's a bust because I don't like to just evaluate and say off top like right there he's a bust. But seeing what he's doing in Carolina, man's 3-0. He's not making mistakes. He's not seeing ghosts. So obviously it's the Jets because it ain't Robert Saleh. We just seen what he did in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It ain't Robert Saleh. So with that being said, the Jets have to figure it out. And I know this won't make it back to the guys that pick a side podcast, but I can't even remember dude's name. But for you to say, like I said, for you to say Zach Wilson will be the best quarterback in this draft class playing in that division, that's a pretty bold take, and I think you kind of done lost your mind. Considering that you a Jets fan, sounds a little biased, but you got to reevaluate that one
Yeah.
because Mans is playing Brian Flores, Sean McDermott, and Bill Belichick 6 times a year.
So now that you see them in the league, you get to see that how they reacted to the league. Who do you think would be the best quarterback out of this draft class?
The best quarterback I had to say would between Trey Lance and Justin Fields,
I agree.
talent wise.
Yeah.
Now, if we talk about who will be the most successful,
Like long term, go Trevor Lawrence still, right?
no, I'm not taking Trevor. I would
What are you talking about success? Like MVPs or like
MVPs, championships, conference championships, Pro Bowls, passing yards, things of that
I'm
nature.
still going with Justin Fields then probably.
Mm.
Cause think about it, the Packers running that division right now.
I don't
feel
even
like
think
in a
it's the
couple
Packers
years.
running. I don't even think the Packers running it right now, honestly.
Yeah,
I think it's a toss-up. I think anybody can win that division the way the Green Bay's looking.
yeah.
And then you got Zadarius Smith on IR. But if I had to say the most accomplished when it's all said and done amongst that quarterback class, I would have to go with I'd say between Mac or Trey.
Nah, I can't go with Mac Jones.
Because Kyle Shanahan he's Houdini, dude. He's Houdini. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If he could just win the Super Bowl, he hasn't been able to eclipse that, but he's like, man, Atlanta ain't been the same since he left.
Mm.
San Francisco won't be the same if he ever do leave San Francisco. Washington was never the same after he left with RG3.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Nah, I can't rock with Mac Jones. I already know that. I already told you how I feel about Mac Jones.
I think as the career progresses, not saying he's Tom Brady, but hey, we got a 3-letter word at Tom. We got a 3-letter word at Mac. We got a 5-letter word at Jones. And we got a 5-letter word at Brady. But if you think about it, when Tom first came in, he was handing the ball off. He wasn't asked to do a lot, putting up barely 200 passing yards. And that's what we asking of Mac. But as time will go on, I believe that he will evolve into throwing the ball down the field because we've seen 2 different Tom. Well, we've seen maybe like 3 different versions of Tom Brady. We've seen the game manager.
Since you just said that, how do you have the nerve to say that Mac Jones is better than Baker Mayfield?
I believe and I said this to do my job. You know who I'm talking about if you're watching. Right now, obviously he's not better than Baker, but I feel as maybe even by the end of this year, I think that Mac could possibly, if we make a list, I believe that
So
Mac
you
could
put him
possibly
in the top
be better.
13 quarterback then? No.
By the end of this year, maybe next year. Like once it's all said and done, I believe Mac will be a better quarterback than Baker ever was.
No.
Baker just doesn't. Okay, he has the it, like the swagger, but Baker doesn't have it to win. Baker's not a championship quarterback.
I don't understand that one. I would say Mac Jones not either, but he got some national championships.
I
under his
believe
belt.
Baker's like a better version of Jimmy G.
Nah, I can't say that. And what do you see? Like, I don't understand what people see in Mac Jones. I just don't see nothing great about him.
The pre-play adjustments, the check down, the making the right decision.
That's why I feel. Yeah, I can play quarterback and make the right decision every time, bro. It ain't the wrong decision to throw the check down. It ain't the wrong decision to throw to the running back in the
It's
flat.
easier said than done. We see what Trevor and Zach Wilson doing. If it was that easy to make the right decision, we wouldn't be talking about two rookies leading the league.
They don't have great play callers like McDaniels though either.
Okay, they don't have great play callers.
They don't have great offensive lines like that either.
But it's like 28 teams out there that ain't got great play callers like McDaniels. Everybody don't got a Andy Reid. Everybody don't got a Kevin Stefanski. Everybody don't got a Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I'm gonna stop dissing Mac Jones because I feel like the Patriots are doing what the Jets and the Jags should be doing, protecting them right now, right?
Yeah, just groom him and let him work his way up. Cause just throwing him in there. When you first started learning how to drive, your parent didn't just tell you get in the car and drive around by yourself. You had to slowly, gradually learn. You had to learn. Okay, this is when I need to start cutting my wheel. This is when I need to start braking.
Yeah,
things like that.
You gotta. Yeah.
You don't just throw people into stuff, cause that's where you get to screwing up.
Yeah. So what do you think about? What do you think about Tony Pollard going for 100 yards rushing?
He just compliments Zeke.
I don't understand that though.
He compliments Zeke very well, and then teams will. It's going to make defenses more honest.
So would you cut ties with Zeke after this season?
No.
What? Why not?
Why should you?
Because you're paying him $25 million a year, right?
But not every running back can do what Zeke does.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't.
Who's better, Damian Harris or Ezekiel Elliott?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Who gets more production, Damian Harris or Ezekiel Elliott?
Damian Harris gets more production.
Who gets more production?
Because
J.K. Dobbins?
He's in a run-first offense.
They was a run-first offense.
Was. Before Dak progressed
before he progressed to becoming a worse running back. Who's better, J.K. Dobbins or Ezekiel Elliott?
There's a lot of running backs in the league that could complement Zeke the same way that Tony Pollard is doing. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of running backs that can do what Zeke is doing. That's why I say running backs are interchangeable. But I'm not hopping off of Zeke.
So you okay with paying a running back $25 million and him going for 40 yards rushing?
What game are we talking about?
Any game. I feel like any game where I'm paying you $20 million, you should not be going for 40 yards rushing.
If you're paying him $20 million and you're playing against Tampa Bay, you should not expect him to have more than 40 yards. It's Tampa Bay.
I understand that.
If he's playing against the Rams, you shouldn't expect him to have more than 40 yards.
You see what the offense is turning into. You see you got CeeDee Lamb, who going to probably be a Pro Bowl receiver in the future.
But did they know? They didn't know that their offense was going to transition into Dak throwing for 400 yards week in and week out. They didn't know that they were going to have the opportunity to draft a CeeDee Lamb when they paid Zeke.
Okay, you the man who told me women lie, men lie, but numbers don't, right?
They don't.
All right. The numbers have shown that Zeke's stats have declined every year. I think every major stat he done declined every year.
And what stat has also went up every year for a particular person that shares the same backfield with him?
Dex, I understand that. But
so if everybody can't get the numbers, it's just like with LeBron and D Wade and Bosh. LeBron's numbers stayed consistent. D Wade's numbers slightly dropped off, and Chris Bosh's numbers completely dropped off from when he was in Toronto. Same thing for Kevin Love. LeBron's numbers stayed consistent. Kyrie slightly dropped. Kevin Love completely fell off this earth. Kyrie's numbers dropped drastically this year when he played with Kevin Durant and James Harden. So when somebody's numbers are going up or when somebody's inferior to you, yes, your numbers are going to take a hit because not everybody's going to be able to get their numbers. That's what you got to understand. AB's numbers will never look the same again. But AB showed week one that he still played like AB in 2016.
When did Zeke show that?
When has he had the opportunity so far?
Dude, the dude rushed for he get a 13-yard carry and everybody like you pulled the plug on the Zeke this year. I pulled a plug on Zeke 2 years ago.
No, this year just because he had a bad game where he was blocking. Well, bad game statistically where he was blocking against Tampa Bay.
I pulled the plug on Zeke 2 years ago. I've been saying Zeke is not. I've been preaching Zeke is not a top 10 running back. Offseason, I was saying Zeke is not a top 10 running back.
He's better than Chris Carson, and you tried to put Chris Carson over him. He's better than Joe Mixon. You tried to put Joe Mixon over him.
I understand he's better. No, he's not better than Joe Mixon.
He's better than Joe Mixon.
Are you? How can you say somebody's better than somebody and he's not getting, and they give more production than he does?
First off, two different situations, two different schedules. First off, Zeke can do the same exact thing and stay healthy compared to what Joe Mixon is doing.
You saying Zeke, like I heard, you saying if rookie Zeke in this offense, that they still gonna be this pass first offense?
Yes.
No, I totally disagree. I disagree.
Why? Dak is still gonna put up 400. Joe Mixon's in a situation. Well, after this year, he probably won't. Probably like mid-season, he won't be in a situation where he's putting up 100 yards every game, rushing for 25 plus carries every game. He's not going to be in that situation anymore longer. Same thing for CMC. As Sam Darnold can continue to progress and become not even an elite quarterback, just become a solid quarterback that can throw the ball 30 plus times, CMC's numbers are going to go down. Why do you think Derrick Henry numbers are so high? 41 rushes? Why? Ryan Tannehill's not that good. He's a solid quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that you want throwing the ball 30 plus times a game. When you get you a quarterback that can throw it 30 plus times in an offense that has weapons.
So that's why you think the Chiefs have Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he could go somewhere and be and call me crazy if you want to. He could go somewhere and be a 1,000-yard rusher, but he'll never hit 1,000 yards playing with the Chiefs.
Of course not. I say it's an 800-yard rusher at the most.
It depends on who you playing with, bro.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's what you do when you do get the ball, though, right?
Zeke get the ball. Zeke not getting the ball like that.
But when he does get the ball, is he productive? No, because you know he ranks in yards per carry. He ranks 31st in the league in yards per carry. You're barely top 32 in yards per carry, and you have Tony Pollard sitting up there.
His worst season is some running backs' best seasons.
This season finna be terrible because I believe he finna average about 60 yards per game.
It looked like it's finna get to the point where they split carries, so maybe.
That's what they need to do. Just let him be the power back. But you ain't gonna get much production out of that. Just let him run the ball up the gut on first down and get his 2-yard carry like you know he finna do.
That's all we got for y'all today, man. I ain't finna keep arguing with this man about Zeke.
Man.
Especially, I'm not finna argue about a team that I can't stand anyway.
You can't even give me no you can't throw me no stats out there that show Zeke.
Dak's numbers are progressively getting better. If his numbers are progressively getting better, then somebody's numbers has to progressively get worse, and it's Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay, then tell me a stat that's good about him, like when he is out there. When he is out there, he's not giving any production.
Bro, I just told you, dude's numbers are going up. Somebody's numbers
saying when
has
he
to
get the
take
ball,
a dip.
when he get the ball, what is he doing when he gets the ball?
Besides what this man is talking about, bro, we done today. We hey, it's straightforward. We gonna keep coming at you how we keep coming at you, man. Hit the like, subscribe, everything you gotta do, man. Notification bell and all. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. You want to give them your Instagram?
Yeah, go follow me at Easy Money J, EAZY Money, and then 2 A's and J, JAAY.
Y'all see mines on the little bars down below. We out, man.
We go.
What is flying?